Alright students, today we're going to learn how to multiply fractions. And we're going to take this example number 1, and if that doesn't make you hungry, I don't know what will, but it makes me hungry. But it says there was 1/4 of a pan of lasagna left. So that's supposed to be 1/4 represented there. So we need to go cut this pan in half, and in half again. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 1/4 of it left in the pan. You can see that now. And then it says Tom ate 1/3 of this amount. So he ate 1/3 of this. So I've got to go cut this in 3 pieces. So I'm going to make that go all the way across, and I'm going to make that go all the way across. Now he just ate one of those. So I'm going to mark out that one right there. He ate that one. Okay? And it says, what fraction of the whole pan did Tom eat? So I want to know what fraction is just that one piece out of the whole pan. Well, we got to count all the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He ate 1/12. Now then, we're going to look at just the problem right here. We want to find 1/3 of 1/4. Let me say that again. Here's the 1/4, and we want to know what is 1/3 of 1/4. That of right there that I'm saying is the time sign. Of means times. Of means times. So, there was 1/4 of a pan of lasagna left. Tom ate 1/3 of this amount. What fraction of a whole pan of lasagna did Tom eat? So we want 1/3 of 1/4. Well, here's the rule for doing that. I'm going to put an equal sign right here. Top to top, bottom to bottom. So numerator times numerator. 1 times 1 is 1. Denominator times denominator. 3 times 4 is 12. And there is your answer. And there is your rule. Now, there are 2 ways described underneath this picture. It says one way and another way. Look at the 2 different ways and tell me which way did I do it. The way on the left or the way on the right? Okay, my picture looks more like the one on the right. Now, I'm telling you that sooner or later, in math, you get tired of drawing pictures. So I'm going to go back up here to the rule. The rule is numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Now, if there were any numbers that would cancel, any common factors in the top and the bottom, we could cancel those. So when I say the rule, top to top, bottom to bottom, cancel if you can. Top to top, bottom to bottom, cancel if you can. And I'll show you what I mean by the cancellation process here in just a minute. Okay? So, let's go down here to the try it at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to try one here. This is page 22. You should have a workbook. Be doing your page along with me. So we want 1/4 times 1/5. Well, here's the side that's got the 4 rows. So here's my 1/4 on this side. And I want to do something to show one of those rows. I'll do the little hash marks this way. So I have marked 1 of the 4ths. On this other side, it's in 5ths, so it's got 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want 1 of those rows marked. So I'm going to go the other way. Now then, where the lines are cross-hatched is my answer. And it's only right here in this one little box. So I got to know how many boxes have I got. Well, there's 4, there's 4, there's 4, there's 4, there's 4. 4 times 5 is 20, so there's 20 boxes. So my answer should be 1/20. Now let's do it using the rule. 1/4 times 1/5, and I use a dot for a time sign rather than an X, because when you get in algebra you will be using letters and you don't want an X to be a time sign. So using my rule, top to top, bottom to bottom, cancel if you can. Top to top is 1, bottom to bottom, denominators, is 20. And there's the answer that we got with the picture, and there's the answer that we got using the rule. Okay, now let's look at this convince me question. Why then is the product means multiplication, the answer to a multiplication problem, why is the product got to be less than either one of the factors? I want you to think about that and have classroom discussion on that. Oh, we didn't fill in our numbers up here. That was 4 rows and 5 columns. Okay? Okay, example number 2 in your book. We want 2/3 of 3/4. So that what comes after the of is my total. So you can see from here to here, there's the total. And then we need to divide that up in 3 parts. I want 2 of the 3 parts. So I have to divide these up equally. And it's in fourths, so there's 1, 2, 3. So each fourth is a third and a third and a third. Now then, I want to know what 2/3 times 3/4 is. Well, let's see, what is that? 2/3 of 3/4 should be a half. Should be right here, because here's 1/3, here's 2/3. So 2/3 of this total should be that answer right there. Should be. Now let's use the rule that I've taught you. 2/3 times 3/4. Top to top, bottom to bottom, cancel if you can. Does everybody in this classroom see a factor of 2 right here, and there's a factor of 2 in this 4? Yes or no? 2 times 2 is 4, so there's a factor of 2 in this 4. And this 3 would cancel with this 3. Okay? So I'm going to cancel 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 4 2 times. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 3 one time. Now what's left you multiply back together. So 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. So I got an answer that was a half. Can you tell me what 2/4 reduces to? It is also a half. When your numerator is half the size of your denominator, it reduces to a half. Or 2 goes into 2 one time and 2 goes into 4 2 times, it is a half reduced. Now, if you did not see what I did, 2/3 times 3/4, let's do it this way. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. When the numerator is half the size of the denominator, it's going to reduce to a half. But let's do it. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2, and again I get a half. Okay? I'm going to have to get an ink pen to work in so you can see it better. All right, please go back over that, replay the video if you don't get it. Let's try it down here. I want 3/4 of, remember time sign means of, 3/4 of 4/6. So I want to go from here to here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 divisions. I want 3 of those divisions. 1, 2, 3. That should be my answer right there. So let's try it. 3/4 times 4, 6. Let's just multiply straight across, see what we get. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 6 is 24. Once again, the top number is half the size of the bottom, so that's going to reduce to a half. And 3 is half the size of 6, so that reduces to a half. And there's our answer. Classroom teachers, please make sure they understand what I'm saying by reduce. We're taking a common factor out of numerator and the denominator to reduce those fractions. We always leave our answers in reduced form. You shouldn't have to ask, oh, am I supposed to reduce this? Every time. Okay, now we're going to go down to multiplying mixed numbers. Multiplying mixed numbers. We're going to do it the very same way. And instead of doing this, I don't want to draw pictures all the time. I want to learn the math rules. So we're going to take 7.5, and if you remember how to change mixed numbers to improper fractions, this is an easy way to do it. So a lot of people call it the backward C. You're going to start down here with the denominator, multiply it times the whole number, so 2 times 7 is 14, and add on the numerator, 15. That's how they got that 15 halves right there. And then backward C, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11, that's how they got 11/4. So there is your first step right there. You got to change mixed to impropers. Okay? Then you do top to top, bottom to bottom, and there you have it. Now then, since it started out as mixed, your answer is probably going to be mixed, which means when you end up with an improper fraction, you have to scoot over and take 165 and divide it by 8, and this 5 right here is your remainder. So that's going to go 20 whole times and have a remainder of 5 that you write back over the 8. Okay? So 8 goes into 16 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Bring down the 5. Oh, it won't go. So we've got to put a decimal there. But we don't want a decimal, we want a remainder. So that's how we get the 20 and 5/8 right there, just like that. Okay? All right, I want you to get your page 24 in front of you, and let's talk about a couple of these questions. I'm going to go to question number 2. I'm going to let y'all do number 1 in class and talk about it and figure out what to write down on number 1. I'm going to go to number 2, and it says, reasoning. It's a reasoning question. Is the product of 3/6 times 5/4 equal to the product of 3/4 times 5/6? And explain. Well, I'm going to do the math and pretend I don't know the answer. So I'm going to do 3 times 5 is 15, and 6 times 4 is 24 for this one. And for this one, 3 times 5 is 15, and 4 times 6 is 24 for that one. And it looks to me like they come out the same, because this factor of 5/4 is we got 4 factors. We got a 3 and a 5 in the top. We got a 3 and a 5 in the top. We got a 6 and a 4 in the denominator, a 4 and a 6 in the denominator. We have the same factors in the numerator as we have in the denominator. So therefore our answer is going to come out the same. So it says to explain. That is exactly what I would say in my explanation. The numerator factors are the same, and the denominator factors are the same, so the answer will be the same. squeeze all that in there. Okay, so there's an example of how you work a problem. Start somewhere. Find a starting place. Classroom teachers, I do not mind if you go through these first 6 problems together in class and discuss them and help them out and get them going on those. I don't mind that at all. Right here at the beginning of school, that's probably a good idea. I'm going to go over to the Do You Know How column. And this is one of those pictures like we did. We have 1/2, so there's 2, so this would be the 1/2 side. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so this would be the 5/6 side. So I want 1/2 marked. And then I need to mark 5/6. So I need to mark 5/6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to mark here. And here. And here. I'm going to everything and leave that out. Now then. First of all, how many are here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I have 12 total. Can you tell how many are cross-hatched? This one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 12 total is supposed to be my answer. So 5/12 is supposed to be my answer. Now let's do the math. 5 times 1, top to top, numerator to numerator. 5 times 1 is 5, and 6 times 2 is 12. And there we have it. The picture matches the math. Now notice you have another one of those to do without a picture. So here we go. I'm going to put an equal sign right here. 3 times 4 is 12, and 4 times 9 is 36. If you know your multiplication facts, you know that 12 is a factor of 36. There's 3 12s in 36. So 12 goes into 12 one time, and 12 goes into 36 3 times. So my final answer should be 1/3. I want to see this, and I want to see this. Once again, if you do not know your multiplication facts, you are going to struggle. Big time struggle. Now, every one of these problems, 9 through 16, are done just exactly like number 8. And everybody ought to be able to get the first step done no matter what. For example, 3 times 7 is 21, and 10 times 4 is 40. That's your first step. Now, will it reduce? Is there any common factor in 21 that you have in 40? 3 times 7 is 21, none of that. I believe you're done. I believe that's it right there. So sometimes they will not reduce. And sometimes they're as simple as number 12. 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 4 is 12. Boom, done. Okay? We'll do one more that will reduce. 3 times 2 is 6. 9 times 4 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36, so I know this will reduce. 6 goes into 6 one time, and 6 goes into 36 6 times. So there's your final answer. Don't leave it like this. Leave it reduced. Okay? So, your homework assignment today is page 24 and 25, and I got you started on it. And work with your classroom teacher. Raise your hand when you don't know what you're doing. Use a pencil. We make mistakes in math class. We need to erase those and correct them. Rewatch the video if you need to, and get busy, and I will see you next time.